we want to get started on this journey. So I'm going to take you into what it meant to do a digital strategy end-to-end for these guys and what they're doing next, and we'll probably have Mike come up for that. But with that, again, as I said, I want to give you a little smorgasbord of stuff. I'm actually going to move forward in talking about Greenpeace. So with Greenpeace, the interesting thing here is that, they aren't a Net Hope member, which is kind of interesting, but maybe they're on Lauren's target list. $346 million NGO, needs, everything about Greenpeace is engaging around a very, compelling topic, saving the whales, improving the Arctic, climate and everything else. So they are very visual. Their constituents and their donors come from, all walks of life, a lot of millennials. So these are folks who are active on Facebook and on Google. So they need to grow and continue to engage around those channels. And they would traditionally launch a lot of banner ads and a lot of campaigns. But when it came to actually getting those leads into Salesforce, they had a problem because it was a manual process. And secondly, they had a problem with actually seeing which channels were working for them. They were getting high level, we placed X banner ads within Google Analytics and they came up this many times and people clicked on it. But when it came to actually building a record for each of their individual donors, so they could track when they attracted them, what channel, and then be able to target future campaigns to those channels and the types of programs that surrounded them, that's where they lacked the ability to have that, that visibility. So we built them a way of connecting with those donors and getting that data immediately into Salesforce so those leads become contacts and donors. And eventually the outcome of this has been the integration of digital marketing and analytics with an end-to-end view in Salesforce, automating it and reducing costs and effort. They're also doing targeted email campaigns, which I'm not going to take you through today. But if I take you through at a high level, I'm going to take you through these 3 steps. I'm going to show you what it looks like in Facebook. I'm going to click on one of those campaigns, and I'm going to fill out a form as if I see the campaign and I'm interested. By the way, it is going to be in Spanish. And finally, I'm going to take you into Salesforce so you can see what they're seeing on their end. So we'll see if all that works, especially after the crash. So first of all, let me go ahead and see if I can even get this multi-display to work. And you can see I am in Facebook here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on, so this is a Facebook page. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this campaign, which has to do with protecting the Arctic. And up comes this screen, and it's basically saying I'm interested in this campaign to protect the Arctic, and I want to receive more information. This is in Spain, so what I did learn about their programs is this DNI number is the equivalent of our Social Security number, and in Spain, I guess it's not as protected because you can go ahead and type it in. And I don't have the screens replicated here, so I'm going to be looking back. And I need to get my little DNI number, which they gave me. And this is a live system, so we don't know exactly how it's going to react. Okay, so it worked. So what it has done now is it has created a record for me. It has also captured through the analytics software that I've launched this off of the campaign that you saw, which was a Facebook-driven campaign. And it has captured my name and my DNI number and telephone number. And now I'm going to go into Salesforce to show you how that works on the Salesforce side. Now, of course, this would take, due to the batch systems, these would be pushing through, I think, several times a day. It wouldn't be explicit that quickly. But this is inside Salesforce now. This is a live Salesforce instance, so there is real data in here, although it is their sandbox. I'm going to take you into the lead tab. And you'll see, these will be coming in, and you'll see mine right there. Go ahead and click on it. And you'll see, Roger Ford signed up, mobile number. And down here, it is now captured exactly the UTM campaign, which is the urgent marketing campaign that this banner ad or this campaign was launched under. So this is really the start of how did you attract that particular person to get involved with Greenpeace. And it has saved the campaign history. This was my initial discussion with them, that came out of that campaign into the history. Now what's going to happen next at Greenpeace is this database that they're getting, I'll just say thousands of engagements on, every single week or month, is taken over by their fundraising staff. They're going to go into each of these leads. They're going to break it out by the campaign that launched it, and then they're going to reach out to that person. Typically, Greenpeace does a lot of individual calling, so they might very well be getting a phone call, and that person will ask if they want to be part of the Greenpeace giving campaign and become Greenpeace has these recurring monthly programs. So let's say that they say, sure, I'd like to be part of that. They would then be enabled as what they call a contact. And I don't have myself set up as a contact, so I'm still a lead, but once they are qualified and they say, yes, I want to give, they then become a contact. And in the case of Ryan, we'll just pretend that Ryan has said, yes, absolutely, I want to be giving to Greenpeace. And this is now where they have set up the ongoing campaign that they become a constituent. The original source was Facebook, and they start going on to the recurring program to become a donor. And you can see, started out in the digital mobilization campaign, which we saw, moving on to the next campaign, and building the ongoing gift recurring history. So in short, in a very short time frame there, that gives you a flavor of bringing real-time analytics and Salesforce together to create a very efficient, end-user engagement platform. This is rolled out in Spain. It's also being rolled out in several countries as we speak. Their overall goal over the next 6 to 12 months is to roll this out throughout Greenpeace's, I believe, 105 offices where the Salesforce is also implemented. So that is what we call the now. So many of you are running Salesforce. You may say that I'm also doing this, but I think from a Greenpeace and several of the NGOs I've talked about, the ability to interact and interface between the analytics, the digital marketing, and the campaigns, and do it seamlessly, and get that real-time status built is kind of the next generation of where things are heading. But as we said, your colleagues and competitors, let's say, your sister NGOs are doing it today. So my next demo is taking you a little further into what we're calling the new. And by the way, before I get there, I just want to also say that these campaigns are also being done in YouTube, and I just captured these other ways. You see the banner ad here. These are coming up on news sites today in Spain. And again, the analytics software behind Greenpeace, it's not only Facebook, is capturing it through all those channels. So the next thing we wanted to tell you about is more leading edge. And this is the use of IBM Watson, which I think you all are probably familiar with. It is a artificial intelligence tool that can be programmed to do everything from, in this case, analyzing photos to making medical decisions. And we think this is going to have a huge applicability in development. We think we're going to be able to use it with community healthcare workers. So we're working with AMREF on the Health Enablement Learning Platform, which is training community healthcare workers in basic community health techniques. And we think moving forward with the work we're doing with Watson, we're going to be building a system and a bot that will allow Watson to answer a number of basic medical and immunization questions. So that's one example of how we expect to do that. A more, I'll say, tangible example today is Plan International. A long-time NetHope member. I don't know, is there anyone from Plan here in the room? Maybe not. But Plan is primarily a child sponsorship agency, as several of the NGOs here are. They capture about 1.4 million sponsored children's pictures, and they capture those pictures 3 or 4 times a year. So you're talking several million pictures, in this case 3-4 million a year, that are going back. They're being reviewed by area development plan people, and then they're also being reviewed by headquarters. Very time consuming. There's nothing more frustrating as a child sponsor donor if you get the wrong child, the wrong gender, whatever. It just shows that there's a disconnect somewhere. So the whole idea is to make sure that Watson gets it right, and that Watson can do it in a fraction of the time at better quality. So this is this is a stage 1 development effort, although it is live. It's live in Plan Sweden, and now we're looking to employ this on the entire child data instance for Plan. But the outcome is to take those photos, to send each one individually, and there's an API that we work with IBM, and it's very economical. I can tell you to do this annually using Watson is only a few $1,000s. We can push the data, each one of those photos to Watson. Watson can analyze the quality of the photo based on a number of attributes which we are still building out, and identify the bad images, the upside down images, the images that are the wrong sex, the wrong gender, the blurriness, and make various detections based on a number of third parties and other sources that it can pull the data from. So essentially, taking a look at what that looks like, I have a quick, just bringing it to life. This is a high level of picture of what the Watson interface looks like, and it also shows the various choices of what Watson is finding as a good photo and a bad photo. So some of this could be completely automated between the individual worker, an individual caseworker taking the photo, and the end donor. But in this case, we're taking it through someone who would ensure Watson is making the right choice. So on the left, you see a very high quality photo, and you can see the various attributes that Watson is analyzing: the gender, the blurriness, exposure, et cetera, et cetera. And on this case, you'll see that Watson is finding that the exposure, so that those all go green. And on this side, we're saying that Watson is finding an issue with exposure and the blurriness of the photo. So it is rejecting that photo. And if something like that meets the criteria, it moves directly through. The photo is sent to the end beneficiary, the end donor. If Watson finds an issue, it immediately flags it. This all had to be done by hand prior to this new technology being employed. But let's pretend that's okay, and let's move on. Another one in this case would be talking about the one over there, which shows the exposure is very, very poor. And that would immediately flag that you wouldn't want that going to one of your donors. Down here, being flagged on the orientation and the resolution being out of the frame. So you can see that with this technology and the fact they're pumping several 100,000 photos at this thing and having it turn around the rejects in a matter of, I'll just say seconds, minutes, you have the ability to increase the efficiency of the process, reduce the error rate, ultimately reduce and redeploy field workers on value-added activities versus looking at photos and making sure they're of high quality. We hope to go a step further with this, and we're going to be adding in, working with IBM directly, a number of additional attributes. In fact, we've talked about additional photo type analysis that can be done. You can analyze places, you can analyze satellite images, you can analyze food, and make a lot of very intelligent decisions based on the image that's being shown. So this type of technology, I would hope that a year from now, and as we move forward with these types of engagements, becomes the norm for what we're seeing in development. And once you combine this with an online-offline environment that we would have in the field, you can do some amazing things. So it's not like we need an always available internet access line as well. So with this and the fact we are moving on to our next component, Ryan, I'll probably call you back to take us through our human-centered design component.
Sounds great. Who here works with an organization that's focused on multi-sectoral programming or that's taking an integrated approach to your development work? Anyone? Yeah, many hands are coming up. What does that require in the field? If you're serving clients, beneficiaries, and need to understand the whole of context of their life, their situation, the pressures that are impeding on their life, circumstances across agriculture, water, health, etc. What does that require?
Superhuman powers.
Superhuman power.
Empathy.
Superheroes. It requires what?
Empathy.
Empathy, okay. From a disposition perspective, absolutely.
I with the emergency team in my organization, and often we find that the staff and partners that have skills in that area do not have them with a long-term work, which requires much more work with governments and institutions, but they don't know how to implement that.
Okay. Kind of a resilience challenge there. Responding quickly and then not having the long-term skills.
Operational capacity versus communication, advocacy, working with food bears, governments.
Thank you for that. Whose organization is focused on adopting human-centered design approaches to the development of your programs? Is this a buzz term that's being thrown around or something that is actually being really internalized by your organization? Carl?
We just have we have one program that I know of.
Yeah.
We worked with the capabilities of our partners in the field to actually put something in place that made sense for them
Great.
that they were able to use.
Thanks for sharing that. Yes.
As part of our Scale by Design initiative.
That's right. Yeah, that was a great presentation yesterday by Dar, looking at how CARE is helping teams to better understand human-centered design in addition to everything pitching and business acumen and designing for scale. It's really a critical component, and this is why we at Accenture saw human-centered design is so vital to how we interact with organizations and the work that we do. And we acquired an organization called Fjord, which is one of the world's leading design and innovation firms, and have now integrated it into Accenture and the work that we do across strategy, operations, technology, and so forth. But I wanted to just share with you real quickly a little bit of a vignette around what Fjord is and how we work, to give you a deeper appreciation for how some of the human-centered design interactions and dynamics actually work. And the name quite defines itself, but human-centered design being this notion that you put the human need, the human challenge, at the center of every point in problem solving across the design of a program or across an understanding of how technology interacts with people and people with technology. And so I'll share a little bit more about Fjord. We'll watch a video. If you could actually start that, please, Roger.
Yeah, and Frederick is saying, is telling us we only have about 5 minutes.
I'm mindful
so
of the time, yeah.
do you want to defer the video and jump right into strategy?
No, let's show the video
okay.
because it's rather brief, and then we'll jump into
Okay.
strategy, and we'll make sure we end on time.
The bosses are leaving sharp at 3, so we
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Everything about the world around us is changing. Services, products, the way that we interact with our fellow human beings, everything is changing more rapidly than ever before. Fjord has an incredibly deep and rich history in service design, working with some of the world's biggest companies across the globe. Fjord helps our clients be the best version of themselves.
Design is really one of the only ways that you can address these problems.
We map out ecosystems for a customer's journey, anticipating what tomorrow's problems and solutions to them might look like.
We start with the truth behind human behavior, and then we drive to a real solution.
It's about emotions.
There's a lot of love and care.
It's about passion.
A sense of warmth and need.
It really comes down to human experiences at the end of the day.
How can a new technology or how can a touch point be used to solve a human problem? Fjord's Make Shop is a manifestation of our commitment to evolving design methods, where we are playing hands-on with new ways to think of spaces, devices, emerging technologies, and use them not as technology, but as design tools. We can do amazing things when we bring a diverse collection of people together to solve problems, together for a common purpose.
Different ways of thinking, with different skill set, different minds, opinions coming together.
As all of the shackles of roles and seniority fall off your shoulders, the pattern starts to emerge. A vision becomes more clear.
You get the opportunity to constantly evolve and learn.
We think that disagreement is right on the other side from a breakthrough.
Complexity is uncomfortable.
Ask the hard questions where you get to turn a thing upside down, and you push harder where you get to see it from different perspectives.
We actively work to make people shine.
Collaboration means diversity.
Being part of a community that spans across the globe.
This is what our customers deserve from us.
They start advocating for doing things differently.
So we're
We're generous
going
with
to
our time. We want
go
to
ahead and
help.
stop there because I do want to honor the time, but I wanted to just give you a sense of a little bit of that visual interaction that happens in human-centered design and how when we approach problems and design programs using a human-centered design methodology, it really does in a very visible and visceral sense, blend the technology, the people, the process, discussion, and we'd be happy to share more. I'm going to jump right over the case study we're going to showcase, which was with Lutheran Social Services around using human-centered design and program design, and go right into talking about water aid and digital strategy. And we'll keep this very brief in order that everyone can make the buses and have time to prepare prior to that. But Mike, if I can invite you up, if you wanted to just share very briefly, what was the challenge that water aid was facing a year ago?
Yeah, sure, thanks. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, where we were a year ago is we've been grappling with digital for quite a while, as many of us have. And we've made a couple of inroads in terms of programs, technology for programs, but we haven't really got our head around, what it was kind of all encompassing. So we engaged ADP, I think it was about June, July this year. And what we did is we actually kind of broadened the scope of really what digital was for us. We've got, I think you were going to talk through a couple of different aspects.
We are, yeah. We can talk through very quickly. I invite you to stay up just to provide some final thoughts. But what we did working with water aid was take a look at four major questions. One was around this existing landscape. What is the digital landscape within water aid today? Really engaging leadership, different aspects of the organization, and applying some of the digital maturity models and diagnostics that Accenture's developed in working with commercial companies to really understand how mature and capable is the organization today by way of using digital across the organization, across the enterprise. Then secondly, developing this digital vision and really clarifying what does using digital mean for water aid and what does it mean for water aid to become a digital organization? What does that mean in how it operates internally, how it engages supporters, how it provides water and solutions for people around the world. And then thirdly, what is the operating model? And this is that critical question of how do you start to really infuse digital in the different aspects of the organization structure and operations, what does it mean for funding, and all different aspects of the organization, and then putting together a roadmap for a way forward. So Roger, if we could just jump maybe one or two more. Yeah, we'll just end here. This is a snapshot then of how the plan at the highest level started to manifest. And maybe, Mike, if I can invite you just to share one or two closing thoughts then of kind of where water aid is now and how this has been received by the organization.
Sure. So what this has done is it's given us access to really talk with the C-suite a lot more, changing their perceptions of what digital is about. So there's been two streams that we've managed to kick off. One is around our new website platform. It's been a long time coming. And then the second one, which is really quite important for us, is around this digital in programs. Without this kind of digital strategy work, we wouldn't have had the conversation with the International Programs Director, who said, which is really quite telling, if not digital, then how else are we going to affect hygiene behaviour change at scale, which is something that makes about a quarter of our strategy. So we kind of see it, what it's achieved for us is kind of an unlocking. Now we've still got a long way to go. We've started working on hygiene behaviour change using digital to really make that change. But yeah, the proof is in the next few years, I think. We'll find out. We'll be presenting internally across the Federation of Water Aid in December, and then from that deciding the kind of next steps. But yeah, this has certainly helped us kind of organise our thoughts as well.
Unlocking's been very exciting.
Mike, maybe just one question. Have you had to work with folks out in the field to raise their kind of digital capability?
It's really interesting.
What are you doing there?
It's really interesting.